It is August 4, 2026. This research overview is AI-generated and requires human review before publication or decision-making. Today's partial collection covers 26 papers, so it is a broad snapshot, not a complete account of the day. The strongest common thread is reliability. Can an agent preserve state, use procedural skills, and revise its beliefs when a person, tool, or environment changes underneath it? We will also examine evidence-matched learning, multimodal efficiency, embodied prediction, three-dimensional editing, and low-latency generation.
The clearest agent result comes from long-horizon harness. It separates management, execution, and read-only auditing, and stores evidence-linked task state outside the executor's growing conversation. On 114 Weavebench tasks, the reported pass rate rose from 51.8 to 80.7% with the same model and executor. That is, measured evidence for the complete harness, not proof that auditing alone caused the gain. Components were not isolated, and cost sometimes increased sharply. On OS World, output tokens rose from about 29,000 to 104,000 per task, while tool access also changed.
Two stress tests show why explicit state may matter. Sweet Touch injected plausible but conflicting user edits into active coding workspaces. Across 9 models and 200 tasks, average resolve rate fell 7.7 percentage points, and every model declined. Among runs that changed from solved to unsolved, 63.3% retained conflicting behavior. Scrambled Toolbench changed tool names, mappings, availability, and timing. Mean completion fell from 0.93 in the stable control to 0.03 when all dynamics were combined. These are controlled simulations, not measurements of ordinary human collaboration or production tools.
Editorially, those papers suggest belief revision is a capability distinct from initial tool competence. That connection is not an author-claimed dependency or evidence of influence. A useful experiment would hold model, tools, tokens, time, and action limits fixed, then add change detection, external state, or independent auditing one at a time. Researchers should measure recovery delay, false alarms, cost, and final success. Another open question is whether targeted tests of the changed code path help more than generic regression tests, because Sweet Touch found that simply opposing an edit or running more tests did not guarantee recovery.
Skills appear at both ends of an agent pipeline. Skill Alpha learns to edit a reusable text skill by rewarding changes that improve a fixed worker's downstream performance. On one workflow benchmark, its reported average pass rate was 55.83%, compared with 49.17% for Skill Pro. Removing reinforcement learning reduced results on all 3 reported evaluation groups. By contrast, SKT trains the worker to use supplied skills. Its verified synthetic trajectories improved all 16 matched model, harness, and benchmark comparisons. The largest reported gain moved Skill Eval from 51.62 to 70.53.
The measured results support local skill editing and verified skill use training in their tested settings. They do not show that the two methods work together. That is an editorial opportunity. Vary skill quality and execution training jointly, include misleading or partly correct instructions, and test unseen harnesses plus tasks requiring 4 or more skills. Both studies depend on benchmark-specific or model-based verification, and most uncertainty reporting is limited. Independent human audits should estimate which synthetic examples were wrongly accepted or rejected, then compare downstream utility against raw and size-matched training data.
A second theme is matching supervision to information available at deployment. VAD asks which part of a privileged visual teacher's correction aligns with an evidence-present versus evidence-removed intervention. Its 6 benchmark averages reached 78.32 at 4 billion parameters and 79.93 at 9 billion, above matched direct distillation results of 75.92 and 76.88. DAPD tackles a related language problem by anchoring training across privileged and deployable information conditions. Its six-task mean was 57.34, 2 points above its comparison method, while a pooled probe found fewer late-stage wrong claims.
Those numbers support gains under the reported models and datasets, but stronger causal language would be premature. VAD uses one marked region intervention and cannot identify a purely visual component. Both studies largely lack independent seed uncertainty and cover narrow model families. In driving, DEFT offers a related warning. Exposing future trajectories too early increased severe hallucinations from 29 to 50% in a paired human study. Delaying those candidates improved multiple-choice driving accuracy from 56.6 to 77.9%. But this was open-loop selection among logged future-derived options, not closed-loop safety validation.
Efficiency results span retrieval, compression, routing, and generation. UEmbed produced dense and sparse multimodal embeddings from one checkpoint and forward pass. Its 9 billion parameter version scored 71.8 dense and 71.0 sparse across 78 datasets. Sparse retrieval used fewer agent search rounds at every tested scale, although accuracy did not always favor it. 3D-Zip reduced average three-dimensional input from 1,410 tokens to 128, retained 94.7% of aggregate performance, and cut one measured latency from 342 to 178 milliseconds. Rebia improved expert load balance, but reported serving gains remain idealized compute proxies rather than measured latency.
Few-step generation shows the same quality throughput tension. Diffusion Gemma reported 1,479 tokens per second in a specific single GPU low-precision setting that excluded prefill, but its reasoning score fell from 79.8 in the autoregressive initialization to 73.2 in diffusion mode, and its throughput advantage narrowed near higher concurrency. LeapTalk reported one-step talking head generation, with a lightweight version reaching 200 frames per second on one high-end GPU. Yet long-duration identity stability and complete interactive latency were not quantified. Swantail reported strong professional ratings for speech and acoustic scenes, while still trailing specialists on some content and fidelity measures.
Structured prediction and verification also recur in physical and three-dimensional tasks. A world critic that predicts future latent states as well as returns raised one robot learning benchmark total from 39.1 to 72.8 for one policy, with similarly large gains for two others. Physical tests used one robot and task-specific critics, so transfer remains open. Cadena reconstructed editable geometry operation by operation and scored 67.0 on its benchmark, versus 52.9 for the strongest reported learned baseline. Rumors verified local repairs reduced out-of-bounds objects and collisions, while raising practical layout scores, but both methods operate within restricted representations and rules.
The concise takeaway is that today's strongest evidence favors systems that expose state, verify intermediate changes, and align supervision with what a deployed model can actually observe. But many gains come with extra computation, author-created benchmarks, model judges, narrow hardware settings, or missing repeated run uncertainty. Priority questions are equal budget agent evaluation, independent verification of synthetic data, real serving measurements, longer duration media tests, and closed-loop robot or driving validation under distribution shift. This was a partial daily run, and no paper should be declared the overall winner across incompatible tasks. For the complete evidence, caveats, and paper links, see the linked daily summary.